your best bet early on is to get a good start. And I'm here to help you with that. So March has arrived. Now what you need to do, you want to make the farm right here. Will allow you to create so much food straight away. That will be really reliable food. Sup guys, it's Kosh and it's Settlement Survival Beginner's Guide. How to make your village survive early on, develop, and what to go for in technology tree, which buildings to go for early on, and like whatever. How you should make your village a good thing and plan it properly from the start, otherwise you might have issues like I did over here. So I've created quite a good village over here, and we will go over the basics first. So yeah, on this village, on this village, I will show the buildings that you need in the village center, so you can plan ahead. So you will have to build a chapel, clinic, marketplace, and a boiler room in the center of the village. That will provide the area around where you will build houses for the maximum efficiency. So you should keep in mind that those buildings should be in the very center and the buildings should be around them. And it's a good idea to make it efficient not to build anything like I did over here in those areas. So you can make the hugest, the biggest town without any additional buildings of those kind. That will be cheaper, better, and more effective. So when you create the new game, it doesn't matter what the difficulty you will go for. You can go with any preset. With the easy one, you will get more population, so you will grow faster. With the harder ones, like normal ones, you'll get less population and so on. On the extreme, you get only 8 in population. So the less people you have, the longer it will be for you to start developing, basically. But it doesn't change that much in your gameplay. Even if you don't have the seeds, for example, you just have to adjust the basic starting strategy. So we'll go for normal right now, so it'll be fast and most useful for the most players, right? Because you don't want the hardcore strategies like micromanaging people all the time. That's not what you are going for. Alright, standard mode, of course. Considering the disasters when you start a new game, I put them on default. They are really fun. They can make you adjust your strategy, otherwise it will be too easy, for me at least. So I advise you guys to keep them on. They are pretty fun. Everything else, I've got everything by default. I don't know, I'm okay with that. If you want easier playthrough, you can adjust those, but default on normal is good enough for anyone to start with. Let's go. So when you just get to that field on the map seed where you gotta select where to place your initial camp, you should really consider several factors. So what you want to have is seed plants nearby, not really nearby, in the reachable area, and a lot of spare space around your camp. So this circle that you have over here should be circle of housing, as I told you already. And outside of that, you should make your production buildings. Keep it in mind. Also, it would be a good idea to have some of those fertile soil things. Where are they? We got some fertile soil over here and some fertile soil over here at the edge of the map, but this is so far away from the river. Don't build too far away from the river because you will have to carry the water from the river. That will be the most efficient way of getting the water. And a lot of production buildings as well. So yeah, in this scenario, I would place my town somewhere here, a bit far away from the water, like something like this. Something like this. That will allow me to make use of those fertile soil areas. Gold point, hunting point, seeds point, hunting point over there. Even the grasslands, maybe. These grasslands, maybe. Fishing point and all that stuff. So this is a really good place for the village. So let's place it here. Bam. And now you want to start planning ahead. And since your basic resources are limited, and your population will need a lot of housing and stuff, I advise you guys to start with the food production. You can follow the tasks, of course, but I really don't advise you to follow them straight away because some of those advices are not really efficient for harder playthroughs. And the money that you get over here will be useful for you only later on when you will start trading, so silver isn't an issue, you can just ignore it. And quests will be completed as you play in the game. So the game will tell you to build standard fields. That's a big mistake, because standard fields, if you place them on the fertile soil, will take up too much space and won't be as efficient for our food strategy. By the way, if you want the food strategy, there is a video on my channel. You can check it somewhere around here or in the playlist that will totally tell you more about how to produce food in settlement survival. So what I would advise in this situation, since we got fertile soil over here, we can make a huge farm fields over here, several of those actually. So let's create one over here, right at the edge. So it's 15 by 15. There we go. And one field would be enough for starters. I don't know what kind of seeds do we have though. We got the squash seeds, so it's not that bad. Fast maturing but low yield will do. So we got something to grow here. It's better if you're lucky with something really high yield stuff, but you might get the seeds later on as you play the game. You might create several fields. One will be enough, honestly. For early game, one would be enough. You won't be able to serve it anyway with that amount of population, and that will produce you way more food than you need to. So then what you want to do is to make a dirt road. I just like to make a dirt road so I can actually plan everything up front. Otherwise, you might have problems with the late planning, because you can kind of get in the areas where you're not supposed to be. So yeah, from here, you will be able to move this. Durable storage yard is actually not that bad. But yeah, you can move the builder's cabin and durable storage yard later when you will need more space. And consider this like central area that you can use for marketplace, church, hospital and that kind of stuff. So don't build all around it, leave some space, build on the sides basically, okay? So you can build on this side and on that side and leave the middle empty. So the first thing you want to do, you want to gather all resources around you because you don't really need them here. You will harvest them anyway, and construct some houses on the side. You can make them just like that, so they will go from the center on and the outside. So the game advises you to build 6 houses, I think, or 7. You need just enough houses to let your people live there. So you don't really need to make several of them straight away. You can order them one by one. After this, I'll go fast with this, guys. Let's go. So since it's January, you can't really work on the farm and deassign all the farmers that you will be automatically assigned. You don't need them yet. Place Kosh over here and let the construction go in. So you will need to build stuff as fast as possible, basically, and collect resources as fast as possible. There we go. So your best bet early on is to get a good start. And I'm here to help you with that. You might even assign more workers here, more builders. As you can see, the buildings have been created already. That's fast. That's nice. And when this is done, don't worry about people freezing early on in the start of the game because it's January, but it's winter's end, so it will be spring soon and they won't die. Everything will be okay. So destroying the nearby trees and stones and all that stuff will supply you with the basic resources to start your village properly while the builders are building your houses. Actually, guys, once again, if you want to make it faster, you can assign more builders. That will speed up the process quite a lot. But yeah, you can micromanage it, and the workers basically will have to do it a lot. You can assign and reassign them all the time depending on the situation. March arrived, guys, and it's time for us to work on the field. Fuel reserves are low, that's obvious thing, okay? So March has arrived. Now what you need to do, you want to make the farm full, like, and assign 12 workers over there. Let's leave only 2 builders and assign everyone on the farm. So yeah, we got exactly 12 workers there right now. If you have less people, if you can't afford 12 workers, assign as many as you can. Because now your priority would be working over here and making this happen, like working on this farm. That will give you crazy food input early on, and that will help you so much with the food, so you won't suffer from hunger later on. It will take about a month or 2 to fill the farm with things. Meanwhile, your guys will the free workers will allow you to, you know, keep harvesting resources. And yeah, so that's the farm basics basically. So when the farm is fully saturated with plants, you can remove everyone now until the autumn, because you don't need workers here. So that's a good thing about the farms. You just need few people here working in the start of the season and at the end of the season in the harvest, and they can do whatever they want later on. Meanwhile, we got all our buildings constructed. It's good. Right now we don't need extras, but keep in mind that if you want your people to breed, you want the young people, like young adults, to have their own house so they can multiply. Basically, that's really important. Now the next thing you want to do is to create a gatherer's hut next to those seed areas, because that will allow you to get the seeds probably to your farm, and make a hunter's hut. Where is it? There we go. Next to, you can place next to the gatherer's hut, it doesn't matter that much, or next to the area where you got those hunting points. That will increase your chance of getting the cubs. Those are goose, so those are pretty good actually. What do we have here? Same, goose. So if we'll get any animals, that will be good. The more of those you have, gatherers and hunters, the higher the chance of getting the cubs actually. But early on you don't want to overdo it, just make one of each. Yeah, don't rush it too much, otherwise you might regret it. As for the roads, I advise you guys to get the roads to all those buildings anyway, because that will allow you, to move faster over there, and that will save up a lot of time for your workers and everyone. Next thing after those buildings, while people are working, you should construct forester's hut. Forester's hut should be next to the gatherer's hut and really far away from your village, because the area around it will be filled with trees. So yeah, something like this will do for us. I mean, it's pretty close. Something like this will do for us. There we go. Then you want to create a big well in your city to get water for you. And outside of this, those are the basics. Then you would like to create one chopping house to get you the hardwood for your houses to warm up. Get the tailor a bit later. You don't need tailor early on, you got a lot of clothing, so you don't really need anything else at this point, I think. So yeah, that's basically your basic setup. From here you develop the way you want to, and keep in mind that you should keep your eye on the season and the field. So when Ripness will say ready for harvest, you should reassign your workers to go back here and harvest the resources, so you will get that food. If you feel that some building is more needed than others, for example, we don't have water right now, so we can prioritize construction of big well, for example, so that will allow us to get more water, and builders will build that building before others. If you don't have enough of some sort of resources, you can assign additional worker at all times. In the end, you would like to fully saturate all your buildings, so most of the buildings outside of the farms maybe and pastures should have full workers over there. So instead of building the second gatherer's hut, fill this one up first. Same for the forester's hut and stuff. So don't build two of those, make this one working to the maximum capacity first. Also guys, when you will get some of those cubs, your hunters will get the cubs. That will be really fast, by the way. You can create a pasture, and it's a good idea to create it at the area which gives its bonus. But if you don't have any nearby, don't worry, they are still very efficient. So create like the big, oh, I got one over here, that's convenient. So create the biggest one you can. Yep, 20 by 20 pasture right here will allow you to create so much food straight away. That will be a really reliable food source, and maybe some leather or something. But keep in mind that it's really expensive in terms of food, so early on you don't really want to go for it unless you get a good wood production. Or, well, you can chop the trees, it's not a big problem early on. But yeah, keep in mind that it costs 400 wood, which you might need for something else. As for the services like chapel and clinic, early on I don't think that you need them, because they are pretty expensive. They take one of your workers away, so you should construct them a bit later when you already got your village set up, and try to align them next to your marketplace, so everyone around it, like for us it will be going deeper over here, so we can move those later and make all this area around us. We will move this and this later and make the whole area around those buildings full of houses like I showed you in the start of the video. Now let's talk about technology point, finally. What are the good starting technology things? I advise going for... I really like the delivery perk early on, because it gives automatic delivery of food and everything for marketplaces, so your population won't be so busy, the marketplace will deliver it to them, no problem. All those things, they kind of require something, so probably that's not the best idea. Heating will be a really good thing. Boiler room, when you construct it, will save up so much of your firewood over here, because before that you won't be able to supply everyone with the firewood. I tried, it never worked. Before I built the boiler room, people were always complaining about the firewood. So yes, fuel reserves will be low before you'll build that one. So that's a really good start. So let's get it straight away. But in order to construct it, we will need cut stone. So yes, cut stone will be a really good start as well, because you need it. Let's get this one for sure. Sawmill might be a good start, because you will be able to get the planks that you need for some buildings as well. So that's a good start as well. That's basically the basic things from the technology. If you plan to move in the buildings, you would like to get material recycling and construction techniques for faster construction, but those are not that necessary, to be honest. Since technology level is really hard to get, I wouldn't advise getting those early on. It's better to get them later. So yeah, now when we got the cut stone, heating would be a good thing that will allow us to get the warm up of the building. And then depending on how your game will go, if you have a lot of those stone and iron on your map, you are okay. If not, if you feel like you don't have enough of those, you can always go for mining. Quarry, sand mining will be required for you as well. Getting those things is pretty much essential. Then getting the reservoir is a good idea once you get the sand mining, because the reservoir will allow you to get way higher water income. That's important for supplying your people with water when your village will grow. Then after this I advise going for the reed and then going for the knitting, because that will allow you to make baskets so your people can carry more stuff. It will make them more efficient. Maybe weaving, if you will be able to get your hands on some cotton or flax, so basically on cloth production. Agriculture, compost is really important as well once you get your farm going. And getting the farms isn't that crazy important, but it will help, because after that you can get farming efficiency. So those are the core things I would advise you guys to get early on, and after that you already understand how the game is working, or you can rely on other more advanced guides, but those will help you with the early game quite a lot. And yeah guys, after that in no time your village will grow into something like this, maybe even better, because I made several mistakes and I told you about those right now, so you won't make them, because I got the construction techniques over here, which is not really needed. It's just good for demolishing buildings, come on, and maybe faster building, we can wait. The main problem isn't construction speed, it's the resources. I've got the fodder factory that requires stuff from farms and the resources that we don't have, so in order to get it, I've got the fodder factory which I can't support because I don't have enough resources, so go to the food guide in order to learn how it works. I've got the apiary that doesn't do anything for me, just produces a minor amount of food. Food processing is mostly useless because it's inefficient, so maybe later into the game. A lot of points were spent in the wrong place, and my advice to you guys, go for school expansion when you can, because that will allow you to get the higher generation of research from schools. So at some point, and you should build school as soon as possible, because that will allow your technology level to grow way faster. So yeah, you can see how my research tree here on my advanced village already, and those some choices here are debatable, of course, but some of those are really important and will help you a lot. And if you'll follow this route, in the end you won't really regret it, because it's pretty efficient. My village is self-sufficient right now, and I feel pretty safe with my village. So yeah guys, let me know in the comments if you have extra tips for starting out the game for newer players. While you're going there, don't forget to like the video and write whatever you want in the comments anyway, because that will promote the video in YouTube algorithms. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, because this is channel specifically for those city builders, town simulations, colony builders, all that stuff mostly. So you will see a lot of that content over here, and I know you like. And yeah, you might want to check out the video description for the playlist of this game and other games, my other YouTube channels, social media, Discord, and whatever you'll find useful there as well. A lot of stuff. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. That's about it for now. Stan Kosh out. Have a good one. Bye.